Okay, guys. So I was working on a stat-based top 15 EU ranking. Yeah, I imagine this could be slightly controversial. It's stat-based, you know me. Oh, let's start at the beginning. I had the idea for this for first time when it was a couple of months ago, I think, when Sparty said he's not really interested in doing another one of those. And I think Sparty 100%... Oh, that's the best theme right there. Sparty 100% would be the best person for doing a ranking like this. Like he did in the past. With Glass together, or like in Smash community, I think it's still something you see with a lot of competitive esport things, when you have like a panel with multiple persons ranking, and then you have like added up a final version of that. But I was thinking, I didn't really like not getting a ranking for 2025, and then I was thinking, okay, what can I do about it actually? And as you know, I'm a bit of a stats nerd, like not deep into it, so like that I have studied or something, but really maybe it's some slight autism or something, I don't know. But as you know, over the past few years, who are at least the people who are following Europe Marvel, you know that I have quite a tendency to do these stat thingies, and like starting with beautiful tables and leaderboards for the tournament series from Ghost, but also like compiling that then into an all-time list, having a playoff all-time list, having season result overviews, milestones and top 20 rankings, all from these different tables. And I'm still in the process of updating this almanac. Hey Inkler. So you can be looking forward to this. I hope next week. I was busy now with doing the new project in the last week or so, but this is definitely I wanna have this one done before Ghost season 7 will start, which should be like a month or two, right? So yeah. And that's why in the end I was thinking, okay, let's do something about this. And because I like my stats, I was thinking about it a bit, how I can make a ranking for 2025, which is purely stat based, as objective, or mostly objective as it can be. And so yeah, let's go deeper into it. I will explain first how I did it, what's the math behind it, not getting too complicated. But yeah, so you have an idea of what I went through basically to crunch these numbers, and then we go to the fun part, to the results. See, how does this work? Every player gets 2 scores. Like as said, it's like a top 15 ranking for Marvel players in Europe in 2025. So there's 2 scores, one's for Parsec, another one's for offline. In an ideal world, I would rank offline definitely a bit higher, for sure, like at least 70 if not 80%. Unfortunately, this is not the world we are living in with Marvel in 2025 or 2026. And I mean, it's fair enough. I think we have like our cool small little thing going with Parsec Marvel. It's fine. So we will have 2 scores, and these are weighted equally. So like I equal Parsec and offline for this stat experiment. Fair enough. As said, I would usually like to go more weighted on offline, but it's just not realistic or smart to do, I think, in a Europe Marvel ranking. Even America's probably, with all the TNS stuff. Anyway, included are of course the most important events in 2025. Although even the smaller stuff is recognized and rewarded. When I will show you how exactly I did the math, you will see how I included the smaller things. But there's definitely a focus on the important events, just because the important events had most of the, if not all of the good players involved, or like in case of seasons, had like already multiple tournaments. So these are already quite aussagekräftig. What's the English word for it? Like very, it doesn't matter. Like these are already really conclusive in a way. Yeah, I think so too. Good that you agree. Like as I said, in an ideal world, I would like to have like 3/4 of the importance for offline, but it's just not what we are having, unfortunately. And I mean, I don't mind a bit of controversy. It's nothing big in this ranking really, but in the end, with how this that experiment went, it's really more of a ranking of who had the better performance in 2025, and not as much a ranking of this is the better player compared to the other one, like the last one from Sparty and Glass was. I mean, of course, there's a correlation. Someone who's doing really well in a year, over a whole year, won't be a bad player and probably will be somewhere around that space. But you will see. It's not in any means a conclusive final ranking, nor is this the goal of this project. Still, it's very interesting, and the 2025 ranking we will get, so. How are these scores determined? So I'm going back to what I said in the beginning here of the 2 scores. One for parsec, one for offline. So in each of these categories, like you have like offline and you have parsec, in each of these we have events. Like I will show later which events are involved, but for these events the players are getting a score. This score then is weighted with that. Oh wait, I think I did explain it here a bit weird. Basically, you have an event, you get points for this event, and then the events that are included in the category are weighted as well, like in a percent. And so I will the performance score, I will then multiply with that sub-score for the event, and then you or like with the percent weight of the event, and then you get a sub-score for that event. And these sub-scores then you add up for the end score of parsec or offline. And these is happening with parsec and offline, and then we add these, and then we get the final ranking. That's how it's working. To give you a rough idea how I determined this performance score, for tournaments it was pretty simple, and so because I wanted to be this as objective as possible, I went with basically this is a bigger tournament, this is a smaller tournament, and I just gave the according to the results I gave points. I think doing it like that is, I mean, you could now argue if 25 should be the cut or like 20, but for like the tournaments we had in this year, it was only like 40 plus basically, which were like the major ones, and like the smaller ones anyway. So it doesn't really matter. I use this tournament scale for offline and parsec tournaments. For seasons, this is a wall of text, but I will try to explain it. For seasons, it's a bit more dynamic, I would say. The thing is with seasons, you already have like multiple, like quite a lot tournaments actually, with 12 in this year per season. So this is what I said before, this is already pretty conclusive. And when we have like an end table of regular season results, especially if the tournaments always were seeded, then there is already quite a bit of. That's pretty conclusive. That already the people sorted themselves with their performances, right? But also because of that, I wanted to go with a slightly bigger spread, because like a 9th to 12th place in a ranking like this is a bit more, in a season table, is a bit more conclusive, or should be rewarded a bit higher than compared to a tournament. Of course not too high, because I already weighted the events, so otherwise I would kinda focus the rewards too much on the seasons. But yeah, that's how I went about it. So you will see, if we see in a pass slide, second place gets 80 points and third gets 60. It's more like 85 and 70 like for a season and a season final result. So yeah, and this is also more dynamic in the case that, and this is one of the very few things that are a bit subjective about it, but I think I went about it in a good way. That you sometimes, I usually added, but I think there was 1 or 2 cases where I subtracted up to 10 score points, usually more like 5. This was used for obvious special cases. For example, someone like, now let's not say names, but maybe people who are only, we all know these, like Alex Tito maybe, or like people who are not entering very often, but obviously are punching above a weight and then usually have a good result. So these I usually gave like a small, like a really small, nothing that manipulated the score too much, but I gave him like just a small notch, so we are having a better reflection of how strong people actually are. I took, for example, the win percentage rate for this. Also something like an exceptional LCQ performance could be something like that, where I say like, okay, you get plus 5 points to your regular season score I have here, or like a widely differing performance in the playoffs compared to the regular season. In this example, we had Shuffle, for example, in Season 5, who had a really strong regular season. He finished 3rd. I think he played KBR actually most of the time. And then he went on to play Trish for the final playoff round. And then he just finished 7th. Hey Krumi. And yeah, I was like, is 7th and 40 points really reflective of what Shuffle had for Season 5? I was like, no. But on the other hand, we can't just give him like the points for 3rd or 4th if he's... I don't want to say he's throwing. He's working a lot on this Twitch team in the last few months, at least when he played. So I gave him a small boost, but of course I don't give him like the points for 3rd or 4th place if he's like, because otherwise you would like give people the motivation to not take the playoffs seriously, and that's not what we want. So yeah, that was. Okay, let's get to the events maybe real quick, and this is also something we can discuss a bit more later, especially how I weighted the events probably might spark some discussion. I crunched numbers for a few different. Oh, is this the new one, Requiem, or is 9 the older one? Cool, have fun anyway. That's also good. Like I have slides, but it's mostly more important what I say. I think the slides are more for an easier overview. Okay, coming back to this, which events are included and how are they weighted? For Parsec, I took a very large focus, as you can see, on Ghost Season 6. Why is that? First off, we had no other Ghost season which were only in 2025. The problem with Season 5 is almost half of it, was in 2024. So it's not... It's also 2025, but not only. So I of course included it, but only to a smaller part. And the problem is we don't really had more important events. Of course, this is also a bit unlucky with we're not having a Season 7. Otherwise, we maybe would have had something for the latter half of the year. But yeah, alas, there wasn't. Of course, we had the Spiderbush Friday Night Rumbles, which we are all very grateful for. So we had at least some sort of tournament in the past half a year, and I included these per a modifier stats. I will show you when I have an example after this folie. What's the English? In the next slide. So you will see. So I try to include the events which are not in here. I include them as well, but only like in a smaller boost. Yeah, for the Parsec side, we also of course had the TNS events. This is also something where I was thinking about if I don't want to weight them a bit more. The thing is, at least the March edition. I didn't check the December version as much because I wasn't playing at the time as well. But the March edition, the seeding was wild. The seeding was not good in my opinion. Of course, this doesn't make the tournament somewhat unimportant because of that. Of course not. But I think that's something one should consider. And I didn't want to have a single tournament, so like only on one day, one tournament, and then the seeding arguably not too good to be too decisive in this, right? Of course, this for TNS staff watching this maybe, this is in no means meant to be like ungrateful for this opportunity. We as a European scene are looking very much forward to these, and what we had too was awesome. I'm just saying, like the March edition wasn't the best seeded, but that's fine. And I mean, if you we certainly have the stats for the last few years in Europe, so that the seeding could be improved, but also of course a lot of American players joining in, so it's not too easy, so I can understand that. It doesn't matter though. That's why I came to this weight for Parsec. Like Season 6 is definitely the most important thing. Also, it was the largest, the most players, most tournaments. It's just it was the most important event in Parsec side in 2025. I think no one can argue with that. For offline, it's kind of similar in a way, just not as extreme. We have two majors. We have virtual. I don't know, damn, VSF. I'm not sure what it means, what it stands for. We had VSF 13. I decided to weight that with 50%, and then we had Evo France, another major, with 30%. Why is that again? First off, VSF was the bigger one. VSF had, I think, 55 players. and Evo France had like 44. And Evo France mostly, no, not mostly, but had quite a few Americans or like people who are usually not active, but also not from Europe, entering, while VSF 13 had the largest focused European player base. Like we had nine players in there who are in the top 15 in this ranking, for example. It was just like the most stacked tournament we had offline in this year. I think we can all agree to that too. Evo France, while also a major, and also so I wanted at least to go 30% with that, wasn't on the European side as stacked. Yeah, also the VSF seeding was top notch, while the Evo France seeding, from what I've seen, also wasn't the very best. So it was one big thing. I won't go deeper in that, but yeah, I don't like if events aren't seeded all too well. As someone who's very strict with the seeding for the tournaments I host. And then we had two smaller tournaments with like 15 to 20 players, if I remember correctly, which were Drowning Pools 2025 and Sunday Face Off in July 25. Both of these had Inkla and DP in attendance, I think. One of those had Doppel, one of those had Sparty. E, did I mention E or DP? These two definitely were in those as well. Well, I was thinking if same with the TNS, I was like, for these smaller events, I was thinking if I shouldn't go like 12.5% and subtract those from the bigger events. The thing is, as these were smaller events, and with the tournament scale I use here, we start to get people quite a few points who aren't, maybe not top 50 in Europe category. Not to down talk anyone, but I thought a smaller tournament should just be weighted a bit less. Also, these were like a bit more top heavy, I would say. Like top 4 to top 6 of these were like the top players, and afterward we went already to like red names, but only like a couple, and then we were already basically at pink names and stuff. Like, still, people who are going to events are the best thing we can do and we can have, and it's rewarded in the points, even to like place in 9th place in Drowning Pools. Don't worry about that. But yeah, for like the scale, I want to go with this, having a mostly conclusive top 15 EU Marvel players 2025 ranking. I decided that this attribution of weight is the best way to go about it. Also in offline, I also have a modifier, which was important for the Ghost Imitation, for example. I thought to include London locals into this modifier. I didn't though, because I have on good word, but these are mostly a bit more casual in the sense of that people might have a drink or two while playing, so that is not like a most serious competitive thing. Still an awesome thing, and if I would live in London, oh boy, I would be there every time. Okay, that was a bit much now, wasn't it? Let's go with one example before we start and get to the good stuff. Also, I didn't mention it before, but it goes kind of without saying, I will upload this to YouTube, because I think I'm kind of early, probably with like 6 PM here in Germany, like it's 5 in the UK, so some people are maybe still with working, or with friends, or going out, or with their kids or whatever. So I can imagine that not so many people can catch this live actually, and this is something maybe when I arguing why a person, or like showing why a person ranked where the person ranked, where it still might be interesting to go into the explanation. But also, of course, will be a final slide with the end result, so you can also, we can basically screenshot that and put into the Discord or something. Okay, now for the example. So you can maybe, I explain a lot now, and we want to go to the good stuff. So, but I can show you basically a bit better how I went along. So my example is Tem. I used Tim for an example because he has points in offline and parsec. And so for the parsec category, he got 10 points for season 6. How did we go to 10 points? So I have to. He was in the higher midfield result-wise of the points. I would have. Well, you know me. I have it open anyway. So let me show it real quick. Season 6. Where is he? Tom 14th actually. with 4 points and having a really good second half. Like in the last 3 tournaments, he entered his score points. Of course, he was just finding back into his Marvel groove when the season started, so I didn't give him higher points than 10. And so he's on 10 points, and so 10 points multiply with 60% for the Parsec category results in 6 points. This is the sub score. Now he has 0 points and everything else, but basically I would add the 6 points here with these, and so he gets to a final Parsec score of 6 points. I would need to check how much this is in a final rank. Also, after we are done with the presentation of the ranking part, I can show you the Excel where I did the calculations. One small thing I want to go back on. If you guys are not really agreeing with these weight, how I distributed these, I did the numbers crunching for like this on 50%, this on 30%, this on 15, or maybe this a bit slighter, this on 40%, and these on 12.5 each, or maybe this like that too. So really, I had a calculation weighting these quite a bit less and having more focus on the smaller parts, and we basically had the same top 10. We only had changes in like the last 3 or 4 places. Changes which were, in my opinion, not as reflective of our actual top players than others. And this was my first gut feeling how I want to do the weights, and this was the best result. So I was like, why should I modify even more here when I want to have it mostly objective and as purely stat based as possible, right? So yeah. To come back to this, Tom also was at VSF 13, and he got 13th there. 13th in this case is 5 points. 5 points multiplied with 50% is 2.5 for the final score. He also entered the, what was it? Sunday Face of July 2025. In that one he scored 9th, I think, and this is worth another 5 points. So 5 points multiplied with 10% is another half a point. So he is in it with 2.5 and a half. He is landing on 3 points as an offline score for 2025. In total, that's 9. It's not in reach for the top 15. That's why I took him as an example. But he isn't that far off with that stat line, score line, actually. Okay, so far so good. Do you have any questions? Otherwise, I would slowly get to the juicy stuff now. Maybe take a sip before we do. I could go with the cheesy part and always change the music to the player's character theme. Anyway, I would say we're ready for the good stuff, right? Okay, let's go. At first, of course, honorable mentions. Honorable mentions. We have 6 names on here. Yeah, let's just go through the names. I will tell you the thing with them. First off, we have 1UP Miles. 1UP Miles, very famous here in Europe, and undoubtedly one of the strongest players we have. Easily in if we just look at pure skill, easily top 5 player at least. Honestly, he's not below top 3. Not below top 3. Probably for the longest we had like Sparty, and Miles was the only one who could realistically consistently challenge him. Like he was the number 2 to Sparty's number 1. The thing with Miles is that, and actually, if I would go with the pure points, Miles actually would have been in the top 15. The thing is, most of, or a good chunk of these points come with a tournament where he got disqualified from in Season 6. Like, with the 22 points he had, I gave him a score similar to like the top 8, to like the 7th place, because that was the points he scored for. But he got disqualified for that. Also, he had one result, one play. He was 9th, I think, or maybe 5th in the TNS March 25 tournament. No offline results. He had that meltdown London thing, and that's another thing. That London meltdown Razer store tournament, something like that, where Miles won the hitbox and never got it. I think the Discord people remember. But it's basically lost media. I didn't find game tape, I didn't even find a bracket, so I basically disregarded that. I only knew Miles won, and Miles is an honorable mention anyway, so it's not included for this stat experiment. But yeah, this is why Miles is ending up as an honorable mention. Like I could have, if I just go by the pure points, he would have been like 12. Is Miles the 12th best player in Europe in 2025? He isn't. He just didn't play or got disqualified. So, but shoutouts of course for like one of our very strongest players, and I really hope he's coming back in some form. Next up, a bit similar like to One Up Miles, just not as good, is Risen. The thing with Risen, similar to Miles, if we like go to a pure 15, just per pure skill, Risen like at least would be like top 20 shoe-in, and very probably also top 15. Like I would say like between like place 10 to 17, whereas like a bit of a tier where people are quite equally skilled, I would say. And he's probably somewhere in there, but Risen basically would be a shoe-in in his ranking if he just would play. But he didn't play offline, he only played offline in the Ghost Invitational, and didn't play Svetwell there, and he got points for that. He got some stray points in one of the Ghost seasons, but he basically doesn't enter, so I can't rate his performance. That's unfortunately what it is. But with Risen, I am sorry, I am quite optimistic now that he has been a bit more active lately, that maybe he will take a bigger part in Ghost Season 6 and finally have the tournament results to back up the skills we all know he has. Next up, I will go with two names at once, Alex Tito and Juan Lopez. I'm sorry, amigos. These two, I mean, there is a trend you can notice of these names. Also just people who didn't really play much, so they couldn't score enough. I also realized after I was finishing this that I didn't include that Spanish offline tournament they had. On the other hand, it's a tricky one to include, right? Because they were only basically the Spaniards. I mean, it's something that should be included ideally in a way, but it's hard to compare it with when there's like no one else and only them. So they basically could farm the high points, and this would be like a bit unequal to the system. And yeah, both, unfortunately no one of these were at Evo, so they didn't score offline points there, so they had no offline points. Alex Tito had a 9th or 13th place at TNS March, I think. So he scored something there, like a bit in Season 6 too. And Juan Lopez actually scored in both the Parsec season, and decently. Like, I think both these, also if they would just enter more of the events, which are important for the ranking here, both would have been contenders for top 50 place for sure. Like, so we have a top 15 ranking, and you will see the top 15 are all like very, very good players, and I think it's a good top 15, like a very compact one. But these four are players which are also definitely candidates for that. The next two names are the players who would be, now if it would be a top 17 ranking, the next two players would have been included, like place 16 and 17, because at the highest points, apart from top 15 of course. If we would be more, I would like let you guess now, because I think it weren't two names you were expecting in this area. And it's JB Vigilante for once, and it's a Willow. How did that happen? So with Jay basically just had showings in the important events and did decently, not enough to get into the top 15 range point wise, but he did okay enough. In Season 6 he entered very, very late and scored, still I think he scored like 4 points, like he did decent. And which I reflected of course, and he also got, I think, 13th at VSF, so not quite enough for the top 15, but as I said, he would have been 16th, I think, tied with Willow. Now with Willow is interesting actually. Willow does not have any points from the Parsec side of things, which is a shame because he entered a lot in Season 6, but he finished 9th, I think, quite a few times, but unfortunately just never could make the hum to the top 8. And even when I didn't give everyone who scored points in Season 6, I actually did, oh shit, I didn't give every one of these names a point necessarily, like from these with only 1 point, only these with like low entrances like Risen and Alex got points actually, because where the set win percentage is higher and stuff like that. Willow, on the other hand, though, has entered, and I think he was the only one of that who entered every offline event in this list. He entered VSF. Unfortunately, he didn't get points to that, though. With the points from there, Willow probably actually would have been in the top 15, which is kind of fun to think about. But he finished 7th at Evo France. He finished, I don't remember, but he entered Drowning Pools and he finished like 5th or 7th. He entered SFO and he finished 5th or 7th. And yeah, I think that's it. But all of Willow's scores is coming from attending these offline tournaments, and it was close enough for the top 15. Just not quite enough. Okay. And with that all said, like, these are 6 nice players, up to amazing players, like in Miles or Rizen's cases, or like the Spaniards, all of these. But now let's go to top 15, shall we? Now to the really good stuff. Top 15, number 15. First up is Takari. Takari is, he might be one of the most based persons on the server. Like, he's always in a good mood. I am happy to consider him a friend. He's a fellow Formula 1 fan, and he's playing one of the most unique teams in Marvel history, I might say, with Iron Fist, Zero, and Strider. Sometimes he changes the order around to play 0 Point and Iron Fist second, which still is super good, because Iron Fist assist is insane and working so well for Zero. The synergy overall is quite nice. Like, Iron Fist can convert pretty well from Vashra converts, or like he can convert Vashra pretty well. He has like some converts with Zero of Vashra, which I usually don't see people use. And yeah, very unique player. I don't know anyone who can say anything negative of Takari. About Takari. He also has quite a mean Ichinko and Ryu, like, which is his more fun team, maybe his original main team back in the days, I'm not sure. But yeah, let's go to the highlights. And with Takari, I am 100% convinced if he would play more consistently, or like more consistently enter, he could be like a guy like for the fringe top 10, if not even like being in that tier in the top 8 of soft players. Because Takari feels like he's a bit more inconsistent in a way, but also feels like one of those players who can beat basically everyone on a given day if he's in a good shape. And that is, so like, the ceiling of this guy is amazing. And I already heard from other veterans that he was like a top 3 player back in the day, and so it kind of makes sense, I guess. Still a very good player, 15th in this list. How did he get to place 15? So he finished 13th at UG Go Season 6. He didn't enter as much, as I said before, that's the thing with him. But he finished 13th overall, had a 4th place tournament finish, a 56% set win rate, and finished 3rd in the LCQ. So why not the top 8 player in that season? He was just below that step. And also 14th at Ghost Season 5, 60% win rate, similar to the season, I wanna go here, similar to Season 5, he just didn't enter enough. Like, he entered 6 tournaments in Season 6, which is already quite a bit for Takari's Verhältnisse, circumstances. He has 4 entries in Season 5, just not enough to rank higher, but if he would enter more consistently, like, we can do the quick math here. He has like 0, 8, 3, he has like 1 here, so let's say he's like close to scoring 1 tournament point per event entered. So would he enter a full season, he would finish on approximately around 12 points, which would be like right in the tier of players like with T and myself and Beanbot, or like in this season. T only also had T is probably punching a bit higher usually. Anyway, let's go back to this. The thing with Takari also is, I said it before, I think, he didn't enter anything offline, unfortunately, in 2025. He finished 4th in 2024, and yeah, 100%. I kind of try to level it a little bit, but I can only do so much, right, before I start to manipulate the numbers, basically, and that's not what I want to do here. If this is interesting for multiple persons, and if I have a bit more time, so it's gonna be a few weeks or months away, but I might consider doing something like this for 2024, And in that case, for example, Takari would score quite a bit, at least with a 4th place at Rounding Pool 2024. Also 2024 overall had a few interesting offline tournaments. No Evo, but there was also Neutral Mania in Scotland. There was the German one with the Britons in attendance. So other interesting tournaments. But yeah, and this results in a total score of 12 points for Takari. 12 points, all on the Parsec side of things, with 2 good finishes in the Ghost seasons. That's all I have to say about Takari. Let's move on. 50th place, 12 points. Now the next one. The next one, my guy, my king. It's Benkill. It's Benkill, the German king for the very, very longest time. I have so much respect for him, because in my eyes he's more or less the guy who who kept this game alive for 13 years until I found, or like 10 years maybe, like until I found back to the game. And so I will always be grateful for the veterans in general who. Yeah, Glass, what's up? I will upload this on YouTube, and basically I had the first 20 minutes I explained how I went about this. But basically this is a stat-based top 15 EU ranking. And if you just want to see it real quick, I had some honorable mentions. I explained why these are honorable mentions. Basically, when you had Takari with 50th place only on the Parsec side, now we are going to Benkill. Yeah. As said, thank you for... okay, you got it. Thanks, Inkler. Yeah, much respect to every of the veterans, like be it all of the old heads in the Discord, keeping the game alive while Inkler and myself and T were gone or didn't even find the game yet. So that's awesome. Yeah, with Ben, he's pretty focused on his main team, at least when he's still active. The Bentinel. The Bentinel definitely also used. He has a Wesker, he has a Ryu, he has a Nemesis, but not on tournaments, or not using in tournaments, definitely. His highlights, similar to Takari, mostly playing in Ghost seasons, so mostly also getting points from the Parsec side. 12 in Season 5. Season 5, as you might remember, didn't wait as much as Season 6, which kind of hurts Benkill in this ranking, but as I explained earlier, Season 5 was half of it was in 2024, so on Season 6 was the defining Parsec event of the year, more or less. So it is what it is. In Season 5 he finished 5th 2 times, 55% set win rate, 12 in total, and was a decent last performance for him still being active, because after that season, if I remember correctly, he announced that he has to retire with his newborn child. I mean, which is a very, very fair reason. Oh, I was thinking about it, Glass, but I forgot already. I thought it's a bit cheesy, but why not actually? Okay, we didn't head it for Takari now, but it's good, Faggot, it's good. You know what? I will just have some Iron Fist now if I find him quick enough for Takari. And yeah, we just had it switched around. It just happened, but it's a good idea. I was thinking about it actually. I want to do it like that. Yeah, in Season 6 he came back out of a semi-retirement. He entered like three times and he scored 2. So like he didn't lose much of a step. Maybe some slight rust. I played him lately. But he's still there. He's still there. He wasn't a top player in Germany for years for nothing. So it shouldn't be all too surprising. Unfortunately, oh no. Actually, he had one offline performance and he got 9th at Evo France. And if I remember his bracket right, his seeding was a bit tough. He could have been maybe slightly higher if it was better seeding. Still, 9th is definitely a good performance for like one of the 2 big offline majors we had. Similar to Takari with Drowning Pools 2024 for Takari. If we would have this ranking for 2024, the Kurumi. They're all good. He would be quite a bit more rich points wise on the offline side, just because he won 2 tournaments, including BKA over E, myself, Deem Phoenix, Esla and Sheep. So yeah, for this year it's still 13 points, 1 more than Takari, so he placed over him. 10 points on the Parsec side, which is enough for 4 team fights on Parsec, and 3 points for the 9th place here, tied for 17th offline. It's 14th in total. Just because the outplayed was in Austria last year, but that also had E in attendance. So the 2 tournaments Ben won last year both had E in attendance, and the other one, as said, had also DP, Sheep, Esla and myself. That was so Ben offline is another step up for sure. I think he's slightly worse on Parsec. For Takari, just coming back to it real quick, he has 12, tied for 12th place on the Parsec side. Okay, we have half an hour. Yeah, exactly, Glass. We have half an hour until the BegIntermediate Tournament. I mean, we will be ready in time, but I shouldn't derail too much. Now for place 13th. Oh, that's good. Actually, let me move my this here, so I can go to the next slide and then select the music real quick. So for place 13 we have, it's Esler, the Scottish King. Oh, there's Frank West. Perfect. Esler. Esler in 2025 wasn't as active as he was in 2024, at least offline. On the Parsec side, in Season 6, we had the first season since, I think, even Season 1 actually, where Esler entered every tournament, or close to every tournament, from the Ghost tournaments, which was awesome. Unfortunately, maybe for him, it was very stacked this season, and he probably wanted to perform slightly better. I don't think he was very happy with it. Also, he had like quite a bad luck streak last year, so probably not all too. Oh shit. He wasn't fully happy, I think, with how he did. Anyway, it still was enough for 12th place in total, including a 3rd place. He had like one tournament late in Ghost Season 6 where he played so well, finishing 3rd, and finished on a 52% set win rate in total. He also was 13th, and 13th with only 3 attempts, scoring 4 in those, 57, yes, percent set win rate. So yeah, with Esler on the Parsec side of things, it's really it's cool to see that he entered more, but unfortunately Season 6 really wasn't his season in a way, because in the past seasons, like in the past few years, he entered way less, but he finished 4th here in only 3 attempts. He finished also 4th in 1 attempt, and I think it was always the same with him. He finished 5th in 2 attempts. He got a 3rd place here. Okay, in Season 2 he was pretty active as well, actually, in 7 and 10. In Season 1 he was even in the playoffs and had a 3rd place. So Esla is I have it in the offline category. He's the king of Scotland. He's like dominating the locals there, basically prepping up the whole scene, teaching the people, the players there, making videos for them. So it can't be underrated what this man is doing for Marvel as a whole. He also finished 9th at VSF. Unfortunately, he didn't have any score. Yeah, I had to. The thing is, I didn't want to promote too much. Like, this is a top 50 EU ranking coming out, and this is stat based and stuff. I wanted to have the opportunity to explain before I just go out of it, because I said it in the beginning. I kind of wanted to. Ideally, we would have another ranking from Sparty. If Sparty would do a ranking like this is with Glass together. This is the best we can do. He didn't want to do another ranking, so I had the idea to do a stat-based one, and here we are. Yeah, 9th at VSF. So, and this is also something which is holding Esla a bit back in this ranking. In 2024, there was Nutrimania. There was the German tournament where he entered, and I think overall he was more active offline there as well, and traveling to a lot of tournaments actually. I think Esla probably actually was the person who traveled the most in the past few years for Marvel. So really, I can't say enough good things about him. But yeah, and unfortunately for this ranking, this is not adding up for more than 13th, although these are, like, if we are going back to like Takari and Ben, these are all good players here. So just being mentioned on this list, I think already is a small achievement in itself. 12 points in Parsec, which is with Takari tied for 12th, and 5 points for his 9th place at VSF. Dormammu. Is Dormammu fitting for the next one? I'm not sure. Nutrimania 2 was in December, I think. It just missed the cutoff point. Yeah, Esla has 17 points though, and I think this is quite a bit more compared to Ben and Takari, who had 12 and 13 respectively. Okay. Place 12. Place 12 for me personally was a bit of a surprise. I thought he would be slightly higher. But also he had... Oh well, let's just go to it. It's Kaicho Fluffy. Let me just search the Phoenix Wright theme real quick, but because you know we need that one. Actually, I like that theme low-key a bit more, but you know what's up. We need to get the good stuff. Some more BPM. Kaicho Fluffy. Let me get back to the presentation. Kaicho Fluffy. Kaicho is another interesting case because he... I want to have Streamlabs open. Okay. Kaicho is interesting because he just joined shortly into Season 5. So like in the end of 2024. In that time frame, like a bit more than a year, he established himself for sure as one of the better players on the server for sure. Teaching a lot of newer players as well. But I'm a bit unlucky for him that Season 5 just was, half of it was in 24. So I didn't prioritize it or weight it as much as Season 6 as I explained in the beginning. And that kind of hurt his score because in Season 5 he was... In Season 5 he finished 5th overall. And yeah, so he didn't get as many points for that. Still, he had, as said, he established himself as one of the best players, and he had a good season, no doubt about it. He got 10th in the end in Season 6. He got 5th, as I said before, in Season 5, winning one of the tournaments actually. He finished 7th at the TNS EU tournament a couple of months ago, and he also won one of the Spider-Bush Friday Night Rumble tournaments, which I only included really smallish because it was I explained it in the beginning, but I covered those with the modifier in the end I used. So it's recognized, so, but he didn't get much points or anyone for that matter on those. Also, like half of I said at the Spider-Bush, I did a small table of all the Spider-Bush tournaments we had, like with the top 8s. I probably should post it in this Discord as well. It's a nice overview. And like half of it were also like in this year in the end, so it's not 2025 anymore. But Kaicho's win was. So but as said, quite a good year. What's holding him back though is that he doesn't have any points on the offline side of things. He didn't enter anything in 2025. Oh, his tournament win was that one. That's where Inkler earned the brown name, right? Good that you have the Phoenix Wright theme. Yeah, the only thing he entered, and I mean this is a small only because it probably was an awesome event, also like for the non-tournament stuff. But he only traveled to the Ghost Invitational, and if I saw the bracket, I think he actually finished only 7th, so no points for that. And in the end, this is 30 points for Parsec. So you see, if on the Parsec side he finishes 9th. So as I said, he established himself. Definitely for sure, but without any offline points, just not enough to rank higher in the 2025 ranking. Yeah, the bracket of the Ghost Tournament invitation was very interesting. Shame I didn't catch it actually. Well, I'm thinking if I have anything to say about more about Fluffy, but I think we had a good overview of what he did last year. So let's move on. Number 11. I already forgot myself. Someone missing. Who's number 11? Ah, of course! That was him! Bakerman! The real Bakerman! Also, place 12 to place 9 are all in 10 points. So these are very close. Could be almost interchangeable. And as said, this is evaluating the performance of players in 2025. This is not necessarily, there's correlation, but this is not necessarily this is the better player than the other player ranking. It's not like that. It's a different scale. Bakerman, and for Bakerman we only can have one theme. Oh, it's a good one, but it's not this one. It's not alphabetical. What? Ah yeah, okay. Bakerman. Bakerman is a bit... Bakerman and Fluffy, kinda funny enough, have a similar background in that they just joined the server very recently. Like, Kaicho now has a year, Bakerman even less. Half a year. Yes, half a year actually. He joined shortly before Season 6 ended. And man, what an impact he had in those small tournaments. Like, I think he entered 2, finished maybe 5th once, like finished 2 points or something. Was too late in the season to qualify for the playoffs, like over the regular season anyway. But then he upsets Demon Phoenix, T, Kaicho, I think Esla didn't enter, Benkill, Takari. He upset everyone to win the LCQ and qualified for season 6, and which definitely was introduction to the scene. He's also active in London, like I have like the flags as you see. So this is the first Englishman, and I can promise you, as you all know, not the last. And yeah, he's active in London. Apparently he was a beast in PSN, of the PSN network for years, but didn't know about Parsec Marvel, like I said, half a year ago, and now he's making quite a whirl. Very, very strong player indeed. Also a very unique team, like a different touch on the Ray with the Storm in the middle instead of Doom. His highlights, a bit. You will notice a trend with the next few players in Kaicho. Very much Parsec side of things. 5th at UG's Go Season 6, I explained it before. Joining right at the end, winning the SCQ, and then beating Joe, I think, in the playoffs. What a start. Also 5th at TNS December 25, which actually I think was the 3rd highest European. So damn good showings in the small time he is on the Parsec server in Drygames. Offline, unfortunately, also 0 point though. No one. I can't speak anymore. He didn't enter any of the important tournaments. No VSF, no Evo, not the smaller ones of Drowning Pools or SFO. He did participate in the London locals. I think he also was at the Razor Store tournament. So yeah, he's definitely, and I'm looking. I don't want to distract too much more, but I'm looking so much forward to VSF 14 this year, because we will have Krumi will be there then. It will be the first one for T. Bakerman, I hope Bakerman will be there. I will be back there as well. I hope Doppelghost this year will go there, and then if just all the top players come, we will have like almost 60 players or so who are capable of going top 8. It's gonna be a banger. Well, for Bakerman, 30.5 points. Remember, Kaicho had 30, so it's like a half a point. Ranked Bakerman above Kaicho for actually the 8th highest amount on the Parsec side. But no offline points means that he only finishes 11. Only 11th is really, really good, considering he only played half a year on the Drygames server. Moving on. This was another surprise, because this is a player I expected way, way higher, and in a skill-based ranking would be higher, but she shot herself in the foot last year. Honestly, it's T. Last year mostly played the Tron team again, although from what I heard she switched back to the Nova Spencer Strange or Nova Spencer Doom. Now the thing with T is, she has, even with the rage quit, she barely played. She had quite an impressive 2025 still. She finished 9th at the Ghost Season 6 in a last minute effort, only almost qualifying for the playoffs. 2 third places, 64% win rate, so really advanced stats which are really usually only seen with like the top 8, if not like top 5 kind of players we have. But yeah, not enough tournaments, and then she also didn't qualify over the LCQ, which really upset her quite a bit. But yeah, last year for T was very much in the sign of Tetris. Although still she entered and finished in both TNS tournaments also very high. Like with 4th, she was the 2nd highest European player in December TNS, also 9th in March, which is also pretty high. And yeah, and she also got some points subtracted basically, because she disqualified herself, unfortunately. Yeah, exactly, Glass. She disqualified herself basically for season 5. So yeah, as said, she shot herself in the foot quite a bit, and she's another case, unfortunately, of not entering offline because she simply couldn't, and with that also missing out on offline points, resulting in 33 points. So not many more than Baker and Fluffy, but enough for 33. which is the 7 files on the parsec side of things, and this where's the mouse? This should be an indicator. I forgot to change the music again. Sorry, I was so caught up in when I started explaining. It's a good theme though. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm almost done with T, but let's go with Tron for a minute. But the scroll theme is one of the best for sure. Yeah, I think this one here. This is a side to come with T. T appears, at least to me, appears refocused over the past couple of months. Now she's old enough to go to offline tournaments. She recently had her first offline win as well. Like, this is 26, so it didn't count for this ranking, but I just have a feeling that T will have a sort of a breakout, or like another breakout, like with her and Inkla, maybe slightly myself in a smaller regard, like where already were some like the underdog pushes and then rising to new heights and leveling up and getting better. And for T, I think we're due like this year to have like a big rise, for sure. So that's T. Okay, so we're also in the top 10 now with her, of course. 15 minutes. I don't want to hurry up too much. The tournament will be a small one anyway. Let me just check if anyone else signed up real quick. But I don't think so. Oh, actually, Yuli can play. Oh, that's awesome. Nice one. I think we will be able to finish this in the next 15 to 20 minutes, and then I will just go straight on the tournament. It will be fine. Okay, so I know who number 9 is, so let me just get the theme straight. You might get a feeling, because there are not so many players left. It's your boy, it's me. I honestly didn't expect to finish 9th, like in this stat experiment. It's probably slightly higher than I'm skill-wise actually am, compared to some of the really strong players we have below me in this ranking. But I might say to myself, I don't do so bad. I got quite decent at this game over the last. Okay, I think in total I play like 5 years now, but 1 year or so was like back in the days. But since I joined the Parsec server, where we have been like 3 years, where I like grinded to the maximum, played every day, get games in every day. Training mode when needed, theorizing a lot, having a game plan, and then being able to consistently do that game plan over and over again. Just gotta be consistent, and I'm happy with my work. But also I know I need like another year or 2 of those to really step up again. And yeah, I want to do so. I want to continue to prove that Captain America can be viable, at least to some extent, on a high level. This is what I want to do, and which is what I'm striving for. Let's see how I can do that. My main team is Cap, Rocket, and Hawkeye. Although I put the Magneto there because I went I think I used him sometimes in a set and I switched to a Magneto team. I also put him there because going forward I will play Magneto as an anchor instead of Hawkeye. But yeah, let's not get too deep into that. It's not the point of the matter here. My highlights. I was quite efficient, I would say. I just finished very high in the important events. I finished 7th in Ghost Season 6, which definitely was one of 2 big milestones for me last year, because one of my macro goals was to qualify for playoffs in the Ghost Seasons, and I'm really happy I accomplished that. I did swim a bit in the end, and also I realized if Miles wouldn't have get DQ'd, if T would have played the whole season, I probably still wouldn't have done it. So I still have things to prove, let's say it like that. But still I take it. I take it for as a reward for a lot of hard work I did. Oh, also the E is bold if it's not looking too nice. But yeah, I want to strive even higher. I finished 15 at season 5, which was quite bad, honestly. I had a good season 4. I think I finished 10th there. The thing in season 5 I had a bit of a, I don't know, like the end of 24 to like the first half of 25 I had a bit of a down. I think in 24 I already was skill wise not that far off than what I am now, but the mental side and maybe like the consistency just wasn't as much there. Doesn't matter. Let's not talk too much more about myself. Anyway, I finished 4th at the LCQ there, and offline, of course, I also finished 7th at the VSF. So I finished top 8 at the most important events for the respective categories, and that was enough to finish to get me to 9th place in 2025 Europe Marvel, which I am definitely proud of. But as said, there's way more to prove and to do. I'm also traveling at least yearly to one obscure local. Last year it was France. In 2024 it was somewhere in the Netherlands, to win one local, to get one dub per year. In total, with this 26.5 points, which is 10th most for Parsec. So like Baker, Kaicho, T had higher points than myself on the Parsec side. But I'm finishing 8th offline with the 7th here, 12.5 points, which equals to 39 points. And you might remember, I am 39, Baker's 30.5, Kaicho's 30, and T's 33. So, like, place 12, like, place 15 to 13 was like a tier, when you have place 12 to 9, another tier. And all that said, also best German player. Just needed to get it out there, sorry. That all said, we go now up another tier, now to another notch of players, better players, strong players, veterans of the game in most cases. Any guesses for place 8? I mean, I need to kind of rush a bit, so not rush, but so won't wait too long. Chris theme. I wonder if we hear that one again. Next one, let me look it up real quick. Next one is Demon Phoenix. Now, Demon Phoenix as 8th feels a bit weird, because in my opinion he's at least top 8, but probably he's top 5? 6? So the EP is insanely good at this game. He's also the old man of the community. Like, I think the oldest player we got, like the veteran, like the OG. Demon Phoenix is very base. I got very fortunate that for a long time even when I was a new player, that I got to play him a lot, and I think he was one of the most influential persons for me in my improvement. And he's just really good, and you can learn a lot of playing against him. Yeah, with him he's originally a Nova Virtual player. His anchors were Hawkeye and Ostrider. Joe, that's CP. You're gonna in for a few surprises. The thing with DP is that he now, over the last 2 or 3 years, he focused a lot and just practiced with the Morrigan teams, with the Team Chris G, and he got so good with that too. DP with a beard? Oh, nice. Hey, Pizza Pounder. We have a stat project I want to showcase, and then we will go to the tournament right after. It's a top 15 Europe Marvel ranking, stat based. So yeah, with DP, he is not playing Strider or Hawkeye anymore, or at least in tournaments. Nowadays, if he's not playing Chris G, he's probably going for like Nova Virtual Doom. He also played Nova Virtual Schumer quite a few times, but yeah, usually offline we will see him on Team Chris G. Online he's, because his connection is more so, we will see him more on Nova Virtual. And DP is, interestingly enough, a very different case from all the other cases we had so far, because if you see his Parsec events, you will be like, what? He's 8th. He finished 18th at UG's Ghost Season 6. 2 points in 3 attempts. He had a lot of struggle with the connection at that time, I think. 60% set win rate still is quite a number though. And he didn't enter Season 5 except the last LCQ, where he finished 2nd. Of course, I somewhat included that, of course, too, and he got points, but in the end it's not enough on the Parsec side, not really much. But the thing with DP is, and if you ask him, he will tell you yourself, he's more of an offline player, and boy, his offline results, I can promise you, don't disappoint. He got 5th at both the majors, 5th at VSF, 5th at eVivo France. He also entered the small tournaments. I think I lied earlier. I said Willow was the only one who entered everything. That's plainly wrong. DP entered everything too. He entered Drowning Pools, finished 2nd actually, just behind Inkla. He finished 4th at SVO, just behind Inkla, Sparty and I think E. Also 2nd at the Ghost Invitational. So offline, top-notch numbers, top results. like really just a step below the podium, like consistently, and at the smaller events he's top 2. Close to winning, he definitely capable of winning, no question. What does this mean in point though? Very interesting, only 7 points a parsec, 17th. Wouldn't be in the top 15 just a parsec, but the 3rd highest offline score. As you're saying it in chat. That's why I wanted to go with this stream layout, so you can do the see the chat when I upload this to YouTube. And yeah, offline, it's proven in the stats what's the deal with DP. Like so good offline. Just from the results, the 3rd best offline performance in 2025. Unfortunately, especially if you will see the next names up, that's not enough to compete versus even higher players. It's also funny that the music switched to Phoenix now because it's Demon Phoenix, right? Okay, next up is... I don't remember, I need to swap the theme later. But yeah, next up is Doppelghost, right? It's Doppelghost. Oh, I already had the Arthur theme in the loading screen. Let's go with 4 if I find him. Where is Doppelghost? I got Enix. Demon Phoenix, just coming back really quick to him. Demon Phoenix, points wise, is a bit below the others. The thing with Demon Phoenix, if you would, even if you would cancel Parsec, if you just would have said, I don't bother with the connection, with 43 points, he still would have been above number 9. So this is just speaking so much for the piece offline results. It's insane. Anyway, Doppelghost is 7th. Doppelghost using and known for using a wide variety of characters. Really good with 3 teams basically. The other 2 teams also using Arthur. I think he uses, so his main team is his main team for sure. I think the Spider-Man team sees a bit more play than the Frank West team. It's a Point Frank West team. But yeah, he's using all 3 of those in tournament. Nothing new. Doppel is a bit inverse compared to DP. Doppel had an insane parsec year, really a good one. He finished 4th at Ghost Season 6. He finished 3rd in Season 5. He even won a tournament at that season. He finished 9th both TNS tournaments, so really solid results. Good results, great results even. Also 1 tournament win at the Spider-Verse Friday Night Rumble, so really great parsec results. And you will see the score in a bit. Parsec wise, he probably would have been higher. He would have been higher. No way. For everyone not familiar with EU Marvel, this is kind of what we are about sometimes. Doppel. I mean, we have quite a few low tier heroes. Like we have myself, we have Kaicho. I don't scroll back even more. We have T if she plays Tron, but this is the low tier hero. It's that man. And when you see him play, and you will see like, there's substance behind it. It's not as bad as it looks. Yeah, the thing with Doppel is he's held back with a weak offline score, or because he just didn't enter that much. A 3rd running pools definitely is... Yeah, he's a mid-tier hero. You're right. A 3rd at running pools is a really good sign, because that was... I mean, it's a top 3 place and offline. Probably even got some small prize money for that. Also participating in the Ghost Invitational, but I think he also didn't do that well there, because I think the seeding was quite tough, if I remember correctly. The mid-tier hero, I like that. So, and he played really well. Yeah, just not enough offline tournaments. It was a shame. I met every one of all the English veterans and friends I made over the years at VSF, except Doppelghost. He wasn't there, which is a shame. I really hope he makes it this year. Anyway, in points, this means the 4th best parsec result for Doppel. 4th best with 45.5 points, but only 6 points offline, which is tied for 12th most. Results in 60.5, which still isn't bad. But yeah, not good enough for higher in this list. Also, plays DP is a bit below the others points wise, because he just didn't play parsec at all basically, but plays 7 to 5 also is in like 3 points, so these ones are also very close. And place 5 is one who actually would have been 7th if there wouldn't have been a modifier for that. Okay, let's move on. And place 6 I actually remember as well, so I go with the theme real quick. Yeah, let's do it like that. Oh, I should have went with Storm actually. Never mind. And we already had Hagar. It's Captain Joe, of course. No top 15 or top 10 list couldn't move on in Europe without Captain Joe. The true KBR killer, I heard. Captain Joe, famously one of two very, very strong KBR players in the UK. Also famously using the most hype and cool and creative team in Europe, which is Hagar Storm Morrigan, I'm sorry. And he sometimes uses in tournament even, so I couldn't withstand. I had to put these two characters here. Captain Joe has good distributionist results, I would say. Very consistent. He's very, very consistent. He finished 7th at Ghost Season 6 and Season 5. I imagine he himself probably won't be super happy about those, just because I think the other seasons he finished like in the top 5. And so I could imagine for Season 7 that Joe is striving to go at least top 5 again. I mean, Joe on a good day probably could win the whole thing, and I would love to see that as well. But yeah, now we are in the area of players who are consistently in the playoffs, like consistently doing top 8 at majors at least, like really like these are really like top players, everyone, and how they are ranked, at least especially between place 7 and 5, really is like very, very, very points. And in class, right? Of course, we have 3 very strong KBR players now. And it's true, he proved it. Yeah, also a 5th place in TNS March 25, which was tied with Shuffle for the 2nd highest European, I think. Also 13th in December. Offline, same story basically with him. Very consistent, 7th also at VSF, 13th, and finished 4th at EVO France, eliminating KBR. As said, he's the true KBR killer. Very good results. And this is enough for 62 points. Remember, Doppel at 60.5, so 1.5 points made a difference here. That Joe finished higher with the 6th best Parsec performance, 36 points, and 7th highest offline with 26. Yeah, it actually, but the problem was, where do I draw the line, right? So I fear you don't have the time with the tournament coming up, but I maybe after the tournament I will go to the Excel where I did all the math, or you watch the YouTube video. I explained it in the beginning. Okay, moving on. Number 5, top 5. We're back to we're now in the top 5. Any guess? I think you guys have a feeling who's place 5. Not too many candidates left now. Here we go. It can be only one. It's Ben. I want to say it's Spencer. It's Mr. E. Of course, it's Mr. E. Which surprised me as well. I didn't think E placed that high, especially if you consider that he also didn't really participate or compete that much in Parsec tournaments. His main team, it's Spencer +2. Spencer +2. He uses half the roster. His Doom is probably his 2nd best character, but really between Nova, Cap, and Magneto, he has 3 strong points. He's a good Dormammu. He has a good Phoenix. He has more. I'm struggling to think of more right now, but he, as I say, I saw him play Virtual Raccoon Spencer. He plays everything really. Just it has to be Anchor Spencer. Anchor Spencer is his main. The thing with E is, as said, he didn't have that much points actually over the Parsec side. He finished 15th in Season 6, entering only one tournament though, finishing 15th, but at that tournament he finished 4. 67 set win rate is insane actually, that's really, really high. He finished 9th in Season 5. Again, he only competed like half the tournaments there, scoring 18, and he was so close to qualifying, I remember. Just didn't make the cut, unfortunately. But he didn't enter the LCQ, or he did end. I mean, we want to hurry up slightly, but let me check real quick. He did there. He won the LCQ, right? The thing with E is, because he rarely he don't have the time to enter that many tournaments. He's like our record winner of LCQs, like 2 times. Okay, Doppel won 2 LCQs as well, right? But yeah, he's a specialist for those last-minute qualifications. Very, very clutch player too. 9-15 SEU March as well. The thing is, where he earned his bread and where he earned a 5th place, mostly was with excellent offline results, excellent really. 4th and 5th at the majors, really certified his case for a high ranking in the score, in the stat-based ranking. 4th at VSF is insane. I still don't forgive him for flying me out to VSF, all the costs, hotel, travel, and then just all that for double eliminating me. What a cunt. Nah, he's the best. He's the best. I'm so grateful for that chance, and he's such a good player too. 4th and 5th, but also he got 3rd at SFL. I don't think he was at Drowning Pools actually, but he was 2nd at the Ghost Invitational. He also won Outplayed early that year. That wasn't a major tournament, and he only got like crumbles of points for that because there was no other super strong player apart from maybe Vlav. But still, very notable tournament winner. In total, this offline performance of 42 points is the 5th best offline of the year, but still getting 21 points. Like it's still 11th best in Parsec, with the 9th in TNS and like a 9th in Ghost Season 5. And in the end, wait, I lied. I did the presentation one day yesterday. I made a mistake here. I just seen. So if E finished 9th in the regular season in Season 5, but of course he finished 5th overall, and that's why he has 21 points, because the 5th year gave him quite a few. So he's 15 and 5th. Sorry about that, I gotta fix it. 15th Season 6, 5th in Season 5. And Doppel had 60.5, Joe had 62, and he has 63. Very close. Joe had 62, 1 point. I think actually the crumbles I gave E for the win of Outplayed moved him above Joe and Doppel, I think. I gave him 3 points. Or did I? It was an offline category as well. Ah wait, the crumbles of that and the Ghost Invitational, that was it. Like in the initial draft he was 7th, below Joe and Doppel. But yeah, just like a lot of small results of him boosted him up to 5th. Okay, place 4 is it Glass? Is it Glass? Let me see real quick. It is Glass indeed. Glass, as a main team I went with his OG with Chris Dante Sentinel. Although 2025 for Chris, I want to say, for Glass really was in a mark of Zero, like committing a lot of time to really learn Zero May Cry, doing a lot of progress of that, and now having a really competent Zero team, and now probably our best Zero player in Europe too. So that's why the Zero and the Virtual are here. Of course, he also plays Glass is probably the characters, the specialist of every character in the game. There are like 2 or 3 players, characters he can't play. Apart from that, he can play every character, every team, basically. Also, if he played on Chris but not the OG, he also went with Chris Dante Strider a lot, especially in Season 6 also. So yeah, with Glass this year it's not really like one team he played. He basically played all 3 of these teams I mentioned quite a lot. For the people just coming in, this is a stat-based top 15 EU ranking for 2025. I will upload this on YouTube for the people who are just joining in, so you can catch up there. Unfortunately we are a bit late, so I have to go to the tournament right after, so I can't explain more now. But yeah, check the YouTube video for more questions, or after the tournament I can go back to it. Glass highlights are excellent results all over the place. In Parsec, 5th in Ghost Season 6, and 4th in Season 5. In Season 5 he also won 1 tournament. I think the Glass was in Season 1 3rd, and I think apart from that 3rd place he always finishes like 4th or 5th. Glass is also, I think, one, if he in the next Ghost seasons I could easily see like having just a strong player of day and then winning the whole thing, or like at least go for another top 3. So I think Glass is up for like another big one, 100%. Also 9th at TNSU December, also 1 tournament win at the Spider Bush Friday Night Rumble, so really excellent results in Parsec. But it doesn't stop with offline either. Only one of the bigger tournaments he entered, but he got 2nd rare of VSF. And this is yeah, Glass had like five second places in a row, right? In Spiderbush. I mean, you're probably wondering, Teet, you finished 10 in that ranking. You would have been higher if you would have entered more. But last year you were like all over the place, as you know, with the Tetris arc and everything. Also, Glass is one of the spearheads of the London local scene. Like, they are playing, like, I'm so envious of the London guys. They're always playing locally, having some drinks, having a fun time, sometimes tournaments. Nothing I could really rate here, but definitely noteworthy. In total, this is 91 points. So you notice, like, E was at 63. This is now another big jump. Like, the last 4 now are, like, really heavy, like, DP, Joe, E, Doppel. They are a lot strong players, easily capable of winning tournaments on any given day. But now this is, like, even a notch higher, I would say. At least what the stats are giving us here. Parsec, 51 points, high enough for 5th highest place, highest score here. And with 40 points, the 6th best offline performance, but still, because he placed well in both categories, which not that many players did, this is enough for 4th best in 2025. Next, any, do you want to guess? I mean, last 3, I mean, who's left? Sparty's left, Inkla's left, another one is left, Shuffle, it's Shuffle. I mentioned in the honorable mention, so, yeah, next one is Shuffle. And Shuffle versus Place 2 is also very interesting. Because, yeah, I imagine these are really, really good guesses. The thing with Shuffle is, interestingly enough, before some modifiers in the end, Shuffle actually would have been 2nd. Really, really close between him and Place 2. But yeah, after finishing up everything and including everything I wanted, Shuffle just dropped down to 3rd place, which is fair enough, as we will see. Yeah, Shuffle, as a main team, I marked KBR because he played KBR a lot in Season 5 in the regular season. He played it at Evo France, I think he played it a bit in VSF. But also, that's why I turned on the Wesker theme, not only because the theme is really good, but also his Wesker team is, in my opinion, if not the same strength, just below. Like, his Wesker Magneto Sentinel is insane, he's so good at that. Certainly the best Wesker in Europe, in my opinion, probably the world, honestly, or at least tied with Insight. Anyway, so good. Also a variety of characters he kind of plays a bit, and also in tournaments, like that's just what Shuffle does. The Gatekeeper. The Gatekeeper. Didn't he play one set with KBR and VSF? But I'm not sure anymore. He played mostly Wesker though, I'm quite sure of that. Anyway, he has excellent highlights as well. He finished 2nd in Season 6. This is so the most important Parsec event we had in Season 6, he finished 2nd. So this is already speaking quite a bit. Even though in regular season he was weaker, he didn't. He just finished 2nd in the playoffs. Still a good showing in the regular season as well. 7th goes Season 5, which is a bit vice versa to Season 6. In the regular season, Season 5, he was amazing. I think he played a lot of KBR there, which he doesn't do that often these days. And he finished 3rd there in the regular season. And then he decided to go Trish for the playoffs and finished 7th. I mean, I kind of tried to evade that in his case, but I couldn't give him many bonus points for placing 3rd in the regular season when he's then finishing 7th in the playoffs. So, yeah, it is what it is. The 5th in TNS March is a very, very nice feather as well, though. I think it's the 2nd highest with Joe tied in this specific TNS tournament. Offline, I need to drink a sip. Offline results are insanely good as well. He finished 3rd below Sparty and Glass at VSF, which was the most important major in my eyes offline. But also 3rd in France. He did not eliminate KBR though. The KBR killer is Captain Joe. Even if Shuffle might tell you something else. Also 3rd in the Ghost Invitational, of course, which wasn't that relevant for the points, but did give him a slight notch, of course. And this results in the second best offline results. Get third at both majors, and you finish. You have the second best offline record with 49 points, and 64.5 points for third most in Parsec is also really good. 113.5. So like excellent stats, and as said, he's close to place 2, but it just wasn't enough. Sparty has almost a perfect score. I already can spoil that. Okay, I think we probably can go a bit quicker with the last ones, but I wanna give each of the players their well-deserved props, of course. Pay my dues. Number 2 is Inkler, our shooting star, not even 80 years old, taking the scene by storm the last couple of years. What's not to love about Inkler? Like he puts the work in, he has the talent, he takes a lot of time to further his understanding of the game. Learned everything there is to learn about his team, expanded his character pool. He did everything. He did everything right. And name it. Okay, there are some things. Maybe also the parts that can be a bit controversial with him, but it's always jokey. He's a bit of a rage baiter maybe, but no doubt we had some impressive shooting stars or like underdogs coming up over the last years. We had T, of course. May I name myself in at least up to a certain extent, and we have others who are coming up now as well. But Inkler is definitely, if we only can name one shooting star, like a shooting star in Europe, it's Inkler. It's no question asked. And he underlined that with an excellent performance in 2025. He finished third in Season 6, winning 2 tournaments, the only one except Miles, who got the Cute, and Sparty, who even won a tournament in that season, and finished second in the regular season. He just lost out to Shuffle in the playoffs, but still an excellent Season 6 and an even better Season 5 versus second place, also winning 1 tournament in the regular season. And yeah, at least, I think it was like in the middle of 24 where Inkler established himself like a top 10 to top 5 player, and in 2025 Inkler established himself as like a top 5 to top 2 player. In some days he's better than Sparty already. It's and he's playing like 10 years less. It's insane. We all just should be ashamed compared to Inkler. Oh well, it's amazing. I could rag on more, but yeah, amazing performance. 7th All-Star in SCU December. 5-time winner of Spidey Bush Friday Night Rumble. And yeah, it's exactly. It's just 2025. He won 4 more though this year. So I don't have a table on my computer, but it's like wait, let me just check the Discord real quick. Oh, I also should while I'm on it, I should just already start my cloud real quick. Shit, I forgot that because I was so busy with that here. But wait a sec. But I also used the cloud yesterday, so it will be fast. So it's all good. We will be just in time. Inkler, Parsec, yeah, excellent results. Offline maybe slightly weaker if you want to say so. Oh shit, give me a sec. I need to put some money in my cloud. Maybe let's just finish that off when but I don't wanna delay the tournament anymore. Give me 1 minute. I will be quick with that. Don't take too long for that. It's that. So. And that should be that. Okay. Okay, now back to uploading the cloud. Damn, I kinda hope that would be a bit more quicker with the. Okay, here we go. With the stream, but and I must see the thing. Maybe the thing is with the BegIntermediate Tournament, it's a smaller today anyway, and but still, I wanted to start on time. It should be, so this won't happen again. Anyway, let's go back to this. Inkler offline results slightly worse than his Parsec side of things, but I think that was more like a day form kind of thing. Like in VSF 13th we finished 5th, but he had some meta game with Glass going on that he picked 0 into him, if I remember correctly, and that's ended up costing him. And this held him back at VSF. He's still not old enough, or didn't have the means maybe to travel to Evo France, so he missed out on the second major, while the Shuffle could compete in both and placing third in both. But I mean he did what he could, right? He won rounding pools, he won SFO, and then SFO had Sparty in attendance as well. In that SFO weekend, I think he didn't even sleep. He like a 16, 17-year-old, like no sleep, just beating up our goat. Like, it's just Inkler things, I guess. Alright, like Glass is saying in the chat, I think Inkler didn't really master the Chris Magneto matchup there yet, so he picked 0 instead of Magneto, and then I think Glass switched as soon as he started losing, when Glass switched to 0 or something. And yeah, that was enough for and that's how Glass also finished second at VSF. Anyway, in total for Inkler that means 74.5 points in Parsec, which is the second best result by a mile. Also, because of the way of how I ranked things, you only could have 100 points maximum. So 74.5 is insane. It's really good. And offline 42.5 is still 4th best, just below DP, and Shuffle had the second best, I think. In total 117, and as you will see, Shuffle 113.5. But the thing is with Inkler, like winning a few points here with the Spider Bush tournaments, winning. I didn't write it here, but he also won the Ghost Invitational as well. So like Inkler gathered some smaller points with the modifier, and that moved him above Shuffle. And I mean, I guess you could argue, if you value the majors a lot with like the most important Parsec event, the most important offlines, I guess you could argue Shuffle second, but really with Inkler winning 2 other offline tournaments with strong players in attendance, one of the only players who can actually win regular season tournaments now when Sparty is deciding to lock in the whole time, the second as well is off Inkler. I did. I forgot writing it down here though for you, because it's missing. It would have been another winner off, and you deserve that. Oh well. Now let's go to number 1 real quick. The GOAT, our king, the Duke, since years at this point, maybe a decade. I don't know too much about the early teens UK Marvel scene, but Sparty definitely was around already. Oh, that's the Cloud, wonderful. Wolverine, Dormammu, Iron Fist, another one of these EU-based teams, but if you see him do work, you will see the magic really quick. It's really it's so good at using Iron Fist assists. Sparty's just a go-to player. But everyone who's watching the stream or this video already knows all about him. He's like the best educational content creator in Marvel terms. He's the best player in Europe for years, even if Inkler is coming for his throne. He is, in my eyes, he's one of the best players in the world, if not the best, even if I'm slightly fanboying here. He proved it with this team finishing 5th in Evo. The other guys are only using like 0 and stuff for Moring. This guy is using Iron Fist. Also having an insanely good Chris G team. Oh shit, now I have that is my Cloud. Okay. Also having a good Magneto there because of that. A good Doom, a good Zero. He has a strong Akuma. He has I probably forget a few characters now. He plays Spencer sometimes. Yes, he's very well versed with the roster. Yeah, we will see a lot of dubs of Sparty. He won Season 6, winning 9 of the 12 sub-tournaments. He's the winner of Season 5, winning half of the sub-tournaments. He won TNSEU December, he won TNSEU March. And I rather can spoiler you, he has a perfect 100 of 100 Parsec score. No one could beat him, at least when it counted most. That's just how it is, sorry. Dominating the scene, still our Duke. Offline, slightly weaker, still a great year. I mean, he defended the shores here, he defended the shores at Evo France. He won the big UK major. with VSF13 Evo France. Only second at SFO July though, and there he had an offline loss versus Inkler. Even with Inkler without any sleep. So, not a perfect offline score, still winning the 2 most important offline tournaments, no doubt, is the best year of 2025. 188 points. With the way how I did this, 200 would have been the max, and Sparty is close to perfect. Basically, not entering drowning pools and only finishing second here are the missing 12 points he didn't have. That's it. Okay, to finish this off and go on with the BegIntermediate Tournament. This is an overview, the top 15 or so, like for Parsec was offline. The really notable things are what I mentioned in the honorable mention category, with Jay was really close to finishing top 15 thanks to his Parsec points. Same with Willow, who finished 9th best offline, which is insanely high. Joan, same, if we just would have entered a bit more, he probably would have made a cut as well. Mystic Smash tied for 10th with Toon for 7 points. Release Bogus is here. Robo Keen Spiderbush tied for 14th with 5 points. And yeah, offline between like even Shuffle I would say to Glass is like Glass finished second at the most important offline tournament in 2025, and it's only good enough for 6. Just because the other guys entered a bit more, also had their winning ways in class and Eastway, or like had consistently just a bit more consistent good results in Shuffle and DP. And Sparty's just like, we know how it goes with him. Well, this is the top 15 players in Europe in the last overview. Takari 15th, Benkill 14th, Eslav 13th, when we got Kaicho, Very Bakerman, T for Dinner, Meisterjäger, Demon Phoenix, Doppelghost, Captain Joe, Tales of Mr. E, and then another jump, and then we got Glass, Shuffle, Inkler, and finally, of course, Spartan Throne.